Brooke grows up under controlling, elitist parents who favor her sister. She escapes, falls in love with a hardworking mechanic, marries him secretly, and gets disowned. She builds a happy life. Her family collapses due to their own arrogance. They beg to come back, and she refuses, choosing peace and her chosen family. Snow gathered like whispers along the Sullivan estate windows that December evening. Inside, a chandelier burned bright enough to shame the stars, but the warmth never reached the people seated beneath it. Brooke sat at the piano bench, fingers hovering above ivory keys she never chose. Her mother's crystal glass clinked twice, the silent command Brooke had known since childhood. Play. She pressed the first key and felt the room exhale, not in appreciation, but in expectation. Across the room, her sister Stacy lounged by the fire, laughter rising like perfume as family friends praised her new internship at a prestigious firm. Their mother glowed with pride. Brooke played. Notes floated out, perfect and practiced, but hollow. The room admired the sound, never the girl. She saw Caleb just outside the window, arriving to pick her up after the party. He stood beneath falling snow, wiping engine grease from his jacket self-consciously, bouquet from the corner bodega in hand. A simple sweetness. A life she wanted. Her mother's voice sliced the music. Brooke. Posture. Brooke straightened, knuckles stiff. Her heart stayed outside with Caleb. Later, coats draped over arms, guests bidding goodnight, Brooke slipped toward the door. Her father's hand came down on her wrist, gentle in appearance, iron in intent. You'll stay. Dinner with the Evans family. Networking. It matters. It matters to you, she whispered. He leaned closer. Girls like you don't get to choose comfort over strategy. Girls like you. The daughter programmed, not raised. Brooke swallowed. Someone's waiting for me. Stacy appeared beside them, lips curved in polite venom. Who? That mechanic boy. She said mechanic like disease. Brooke didn't answer. Silence was sometimes rebellion. Outside, she reached Caleb. His eyes searched hers, reading sadness like sheet music. Rough night? He asked softly. Just loud expectations. He offered the bouquet unsure. She took it like oxygen. You ready? He whispered. Brooke looked back at the glowing windows. Her reflection stared back, staged and still. No, she said quietly. But I'm leaving anyway. They walked toward his beat-up truck, snow crunching beneath gentle steps. Her phone buzzed, mother calling. Again. Again. She let it ring. Inside the truck, engine humming low, Caleb brushed a strand of hair from her face. You don't have to keep choosing pain, he murmured. Brooke stared out the window, the mansion shrinking in the rear mirror. I don't know how not to. Then we'll learn together. For the first time that night, she breathed without effort. The Sullivan home disappeared behind snowfall. She didn't know yet that this was the last time she'd leave quietly. College felt like stepping into a world built from air and possibility. Coffee steam, worn textbooks, late-night walks through campus lights. Brooke's voice softened, not from fear, but from freedom. Marketing class. She pitched ideas. People listened. You're talented, her professor said one afternoon. Not because someone told you to be. You just are. She blinked and used to praise without a price tag. Caleb would meet her after class, grease-stained hands holding coffee cups, smile sheepish and real. You look like you belong here, he'd say, pride quiet but fierce. Days passed in laughter and ramen noodles, playlists, and long drives with no destination. For the first time, her dreams felt like her own handwriting. But pressure traveled. Calls from home came like weather alerts. When will you visit? Why are your grades not like Stacy's? A mechanic? Brooke, ambition matters. Mom's disappointment wasn't loud, it seeped, like water finding cracks. One evening, Brooke stared at her phone buzzing endlessly. Caleb watched her chest tighten. Answer or don't, he said. Either way, breathe. She didn't. Not yet. But she stayed silent. Progress in inches. Meanwhile, Stacy sent photos from charity galas and penthouse dinners. Brooke scrolled, comparing her thrift store boots to designer heels. She hated herself for caring. Old conditioning doesn't snap. It unravels slowly, thread by thread. At a campus cafe, a classmate asked, "Your family rich?" Brooke hesitated. "They're invested in appearances." The girl laughed. "Sounds exhausting." It was. One night, Caleb took her to the lake. City lights shimmered like fallen constellations. "You ever think about cutting them off?" he asked. She flinched. "They're my family. Family shouldn't feel like a debt collector." That line hung between them, heavy truth disguised as casual comment. Weeks later, Brooke brought Caleb home for dinner. She dressed carefully, neutral, safe, controlled. But anxiety fluttered like trapped wings. At the Sullivan table, silverware gleamed. Judgment sharper. Mom's eyes landed on Caleb. "So you fix cars?" "Yes, ma'am," Caleb answered calmly. "I love what I do." Her mother offered a tight smile. "As long as it's temporary." Brooke inhaled sharply. Caleb squeezed her knee under the table. Not to silence her. To say we're okay. Stacy chimed, voice dripping sugar over poison. "Call just bought a lake house. Real career growth shows." Brooke's hand trembled on her fork. Her father cleared his throat. "Stability matters. Reputation matters." Caleb lifted his chin. "Kindness matters too." Silence. Knife sharp. That night, in the truck, Brooke cried without sound. Caleb rested his forehead against hers. "You don't need to earn love," he whispered. She wanted to believe him. She needed to. But she didn't yet know believing would cost her everything. Christmas lights glittered like lies wrapped in tinsel. Sullivan Estate buzzing with guests, wine, artificial warmth. Brooke walked in wearing a soft cream dress, ring tucked beneath her glove. Her secret wedding still warm in her heart. Caleb squeezed her hand. "Whatever happens, we walk out together." Inside, whispers floated. Someone murmured, "She's still with him," like she was a tragedy, not a daughter. Dinner felt like sitting in a museum of judgment. Halfway through, Brooke rose. Glass trembling lightly in hand. "I'd like to share something." Conversations died. Eyes pinned her. "Caleb and I got married last week." It was not shouted. It didn't need to be. Truth has its own volume. Silence poured like ice water. Her mother stood first. Controlled. Perfect posture cracking at the edges. "You married him?" Her voice was soft. Deadly. "Yes." Her father's napkin dropped. "Do you understand what you've done?" "Chosen my life," Brooke whispered. Stacy leaned back, smirking. "Courthouse special?" "Romantic." Someone gasped. Forks paused midair. A cousin stared like witnessing treason. Brooke's mother exhaled once. Sharp. "In this family, reputation is legacy." Brooke's voice steadied. "Love is mine." Then came words that would become scars. "In our eyes," her mother said, shaking with fury, "you are already dead." A collective shiver moved through the room. Someone whispered a prayer. Caleb stood, calm storm behind his eyes. "We're leaving." Brooke nodded, throat tight but unbroken. Her father's voice followed. "Do not come back. There will be no forgiveness." Brooke looked at Stacy. Stacy smiled like winning. Something inside Brooke closed. Something else opened. Understood. She didn't cry. Didn't beg. Didn't shake. She set her napkin down quietly, like laying a flower on a grave. Then she walked out, hand in Caleb's, coat trailing behind like wings finally unfurled. Outside, snow fell softer than sorrow. She didn't look back. Not once. Section 4. The life she built, 500 words, freedom didn't roar. It whispered. A small apartment downtown. Light through thin curtains. Coffee shared on chipped mugs. Caleb fixing her wobbly desk, Brooke hanging fairy lights badly, laughing. She got promoted. Led campaigns. Built identity not tied to a last name, but to her work, her grit, her mind. Clients asked for her by name. At nights, she cooked pasta that sometimes tasted like soap. Caleb ate it anyway, grinning like she was Michelin star. She didn't check her phone for approval anymore. Silence felt holy. Margaret saw her at a cafe. Soft voice, hesitant smile. "Your parents, they're not doing well." Brooke's hand paused over her cup. Stacy's boyfriend had conned her. Parents sold their house to cover debts. Social circle vanished. Their kingdom crumbled under the weight of their pride. Brooke listened quietly. No triumph. Just distance. They miss you, Margaret whispered. Brooke shook her head gently. They miss control. At home, Caleb wrapped arms around her waist while she chopped vegetables. You okay? She leaned back into him. I'm something new. Nights filled with slow music and plans for their future. Saving for a house. Talking about kids. Not rushing, just dreaming. Sometimes pain surfaced. A memory. A sentence. A ghost. You ever regret it? Caleb asked once. She rested her head on his chest. I regret believing their version of me for so long. He kissed her hair. You rewrote it. And she had. Every morning she chose peace. Every night she slept guilt-free. Family isn't blood. Family is safety. The knock came one rainy evening. Persistent. Heavy. Brooke opened the door. There they stood. Mother thinner. Father older. Stacy's eyes swollen from crying instead of mocking. Brooke, her mother whispered, voice cracked, not commanding. Please. Her father's shoulders sagged. Stacy clutched her coat like armor that no longer fit. We lost everything, her father murmured. We were wrong. Her mother's eyes glistened. We miss you. We love you. Love. A word they weaponized like a whip. Caleb stood behind Brooke, a hand on her back. Support. Not influence. In another life, Brooke might have folded. Might have run into arms that had never been open. She breathed in. Counted 3 heartbeats. Spoke softly, steady as stone. You taught me something valuable, she said. That peace sometimes requires absence. Stacy whispered, broken, we're still family. Brooke shook her head gently. Family protects. Family nurtures. You were architects of fear, not love. Her mother reached out. Brooke didn't move. The girl who needed you, Brooke said, voice tender but final, she doesn't live here anymore. Tears spilled. Not hers. Theirs. She didn't slam the door. She closed it with slow grace. Kindness doesn't always mean opening the gate. Sometimes it means locking it and walking toward the life you chose. Caleb kissed her temple. Proud of you. She whispered, I'm proud of me too. Spring brushed Madison with warmth. Trees budded, life unfolding without asking permission. Brooke sat on their small balcony, journal open, sunlight soft on her skin. She had once traded selfhood for belonging. Now she belonged to herself. Caleb came outside, 2 mugs in hand. Coffee for my marketing genius. She smirked. You worship me. He shrugged, playful. A little. They sat, feet tangled, silence easy. Her phone buzzed. Unfamiliar number. She didn't check. Not every call deserves answering. Instead, she opened her journal. Today I am free. She had no anger left, no bitterness. Just space. Space she earned. Space she defended. They took a walk through the city. Past a family arguing. A mother tugging a daughter's arm too tightly. Brooke paused, heart pinching. Not from memory, but empathy. Caleb squeezed her hand. You okay? Yes, she breathed. Because I left. That's the truth no one tells you. Sometimes walking away isn't cruelty. Sometimes it's survival. Sometimes it's rebirth. They reached the lake. The same one where doubt once lived. Brooke leaned into Caleb. What now? He asked. She smiled. We live. Softly. Loudly. Honestly. A child nearby squealed, chasing bubbles. Brooke laughed. Light. Unburdened. Her life was not perfect. It was real. And real was enough. As the sun dipped low, she whispered to the wind, not in anger but farewell, I chose myself. And I won. Fade out on her face. Calm. Certain. Whole.